and welcome to my Tarot Corner. So how can I ignore the Sussexes' attempt to control reality by creating their own virtual reality? This is a typical attempt of people who don't like what they have to create something that might help them deal with their own reality. Now, naturally, it is an attempt to connect with younger people, which I think is stupid, because younger people either not interested, or the ones who are, most of them do support them. The ones that they need to connect to are the older population if they want to achieve any kind of success. But this is, I believe, another puff piece. I don't think that they can actually do that, or that they actually trying to do that. But I'm going to look into their attempts to run away from their reality and create their own. And I'm using the Curious Creatures Tarot, because this is another animal-based tarot deck, and it is also the people that are curious, so curious creatures. Okay, as you can see, I was today at my nail artist, finally, because I was really getting desperate, and also dyed my hair, which I felt like I really needed to. So that was something that I went right after work, and got home completely torn and with pain. So it took me some time until I could sit and do the readings. And let's start with my disclaimer. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. So let's clear the deck and start this 6-card spread. Okay. So Harry and Meghan need to face their reality, but instead of that, they are trying to create their own virtual reality. So what are they trying to escape? Why can't they face their own reality? What are they trying to achieve by creating a virtual reality space of themselves? I really don't see how they think that they can put some content into something like that, because they have no content. When you listen to her podcasts, it's just so obvious that she is just repeating herself, and she has nothing really to say. So the first card is the aspect of reality that they are avoiding. And the card that I'm getting here is Strength. Okay, so this is not a bad card, but because we are talking about what they are trying to avoid, we need to look at the negative aspects of this card. Now, this card speaks about controlling your reality, controlling everything that happens to you, and it speaks about being able to control and to find that control within yourself. Now, because it is something that they are trying to avoid, we're looking at the bad aspects of this card, and it shows insecurity, it shows lack of controls, and it shows difficulty in self-fulfillment. All of these things are things that they are trying to avoid. This is also a card of addictions, people with ego problems, and people who let others control them. Now, I believe that this, because we're talking about both of them, so part of this are things that are more connected to Meghan and part more to Harry. For example, the ego problem, I think it's more Meghan's. Being unable to control oneself, I think it's more Harry's. But when we're looking at them together, we see a weak couple with very deep insecurities that are looking for some control over their own reality and are unable to do that, and they're trying to avoid it. So this is the first card, and I think that it's the most important card in this spread. Now the question is, which is a question that seems ridiculous now, why are they trying to avoid it? So I'm going to deepen the question, because we know that everyone wants to avoid something like that. What I'm going to look into is why is it important for them to face that reality and try to change that reality, but not by creating a virtual reality, but by trying to change things in a more profound way in their own reality. So why can't they do that? Why are they trying to look for all sorts of bypasses in order to bypass this problem and not to actually deal with that? And what I'm getting here is the Seven of Swords. So it's all part of a plan. It's all part of a strategy. Now, once again, because this is not a good card, we're talking about, and I'm talking about the place of the card, the place of it in the spread. And this is a position that is a negative position, because we're asking, why are they not actually confronting their own problems? Why are they trying to bypass them? And we see that they believe that by way of conniving, by way of creating some kind of a different or complicated plan, because let's face it, creating a virtual reality, that is a way too complicated plan in order to try and bypass your real problem instead of actually facing the problem. So this is what this card is showing us. This is all a plan and a strategy, trying to avoid the real problems, trying to, in a complicated strategy, to act cunningly, but they are about to fail. This is what this card is telling us. They are concealing not only from the public, but from themselves, everything that they really need to face. This is a card that shows us deception, it shows quarrels, it shows fights. So I suppose that they are also fighting one between themselves in order to try and reach some kind of agreement. But altogether, this is a way too complicated way to try and avoid dealing with the real problem. Okay, so the next card is, how can they actually accept the truth about their own position or their reality? And what I'm getting here is the Nine of Wands. So not very good cards here, but what does the Nine of Wands speaks of? And now we need to look at a positive aspect of a bad card, because the Nine of Wands is not a good card. It's a card that speaks about facing obstacles after obstacles and believing that just one more obstacle and everything will be okay. But this is not a true thing. This is not reality, because in reality what happens after the Nine of Wands is the Ten of Wands, which is an overload and collapsing completely under the weight of reality. So, but we need to look at the positive aspects, because this card should help us understand what is the right way for them to deal with reality. And the right way is to find out what went wrong and how to fix it, and to perform the correct action they need to survive, and not to allow themselves but to believe that everything will be okay without them doing anything to change reality. This is a card that shows people that are prone to fail. They are prone to not understand the real obstacles that they are facing, and because of that, they believe that everything will be okay, but it won't. So this card is telling them to check their own movements, their own actions, and to find out how or when or where they went wrong and trying to fix that. This card is showing us they are not really involved in the real aspects of the things that are happening to them. They are deceiving themselves, they are concealing the truth even from themselves. So this card shows us that they have a very, very big task in front of them if they want to be able to change their position, which is not at all positive. Okay, so the next card is a way that this is tying into. Sorry, but I was taken out of concentration for a moment. So once again, how this whole question is tying to their own spiritual bypassing. What do I mean by that? I mean that they are bypassing their own problems. They are trying to bypass their own problems. They are spiritually not engaging with the problems. So how does all of what we got up until now, or how does their own reality ties into that bypassing? And what I'm getting here is the Ten of Wands, which is exactly the card that comes after the Nine of Wands. So when we get the Ten of Wands and it comes right after the Nine of Wands, it is a really bad card because this is an overload. This is collapsing. Usually because you carry those wands in the wrong way, although here we see that he is carrying the wands in the right way. So it's not even something that they are doing wrong. It's everything around their reality that is wrong. And this card shows self-destruction, and it shows people or a couple that don't listen to one another, someone who needs some kind of a conquest and is just focused on that. And this ties very well to my second reading for today. But they are not thinking about bettering themselves. They are thinking about the people that they want to destroy. So they are not trying to change their own reality. They're not trying to be better. They are constantly focused on hurting others, hurting the royal family, hurting their own families, each in his own in his own way. So this is a card that shows a person that is vindictive, a person that is in some kind of a survival mode, but highly self-destructive and unable to succeed. So this is another card of quarrels, of resistance, of conflicts, of people that cannot take others' opinions. So despite the fact that people probably told them that they are approaching all of their of the question of how they live their lives apart from the royal family, they are approaching all of that in the wrong way. People are saying that to them. I'm sure that it's not only us telling them that. And they just don't listen. They just unable to listen to other people's advice. And we see that all over the reading. So this is a card that shows that they have quarrels between themselves, conflicts between themselves, and conflicts towards the outer world. So they are constantly engaged in hurting others, in being vindictive, and being vengeful. And this is one of the reasons why I'm telling King Charles that he needs to be very careful not to be seen vindictive, because he cannot spin it as not a punishment for the way that they are acting, and they deserve the punishment, but he shouldn't be seen as someone who is vindictive, because they are seen as vindictive, and we don't want King Charles to have any similarity to Harry and Meghan. So this is how it ties into their spiritual bypass. So the next card is, what is the pattern that they fall into over and over again when they are stressed? And what I'm getting here is the Seven of Wands. So once again, this is a negative card. This is a positive card that comes in a negative position. So once again, we need to look at the negative aspects. Now, I want you to see that we have here in this side of the spread 3 wands. That is a lot of fire. That is a lot of wish to be able to get their wishes realized. That is a lot of wish to be able to create. And this is a lot of frustration because of the inability to be creative, the inability to focus. And this is what the Seven of Wands is all about. Seven of Wands, when it's in the positive meaning of it, speaks about being able to focus on the most important things and leave the trivial things aside. So this is a card that when it's upright, or when it is positive, shows the ability to focus. But when it's in the negative, it shows inability to focus. So they are unable to focus on their real problems. And this is a pattern that they fall into over and over again. Instead of focusing on their real problems, instead of focusing on the problems that that were created by their previous. Sorry, close that. Okay, so instead of being focused on the things that they should be focusing, they are dealing with all of the trivial things. And this is all part of being vindictive, of trying to assault people, people that have difficulty in taking any kind of decisions, people that get bored very quickly, people that are procrastinating, people that cannot create, and people that start things but cannot finish them. And this is part of the Wands series as a whole. Many of the Wands people have problems in finishing things. And we see that with Harry and Meghan all the time. Now it came out that Meghan is not even doing her own interviews, and she's always waiting for other people to do the work for her. So this card shows that they are unable to focus on the important things in their own reality, and because of that they are running away to other kinds of reality. So next card is, what can they do to change things for the better? Doesn't mean that they can do that, but what is there for them to do? And what I'm getting here is the Moon. So the Moon is a very difficult card, because this is a card of severe mental health problems. This is a card of problems between a mother and a daughter, or even between a mother and a son, and a person that is unable to get over his problems with his mother. And this card shows that in order for them to be able to move forward and to create the reality that they really want, both of them need mental health therapy, something that both of them probably won't ask for or won't get, not the right kind. And I've been saying that for a long time. It's very nice to speak about things and to go to GETTR and say all sorts of things, but if you're not getting the therapy that you need, then you will never get over those problems. Now, this card shows really severe problems, though some of those problems are incurable. This shows that they have a lot in front of them to challenge. Okay, so the middle card is going to tell me if this plan is going to come out or not. So I'm praying for a yes or no card, and what I'm getting is the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is not a yes or no card. It is a card that shows us that they are in the beginning of this road. They are still planning it. This card shows that probably they will not be able to make that happen. And if you can see here, we have a lock and a key that are very much in different places. So they cannot actually get the key to the lock. And if they cannot do that, then they won't be able to create it. But they are still talking about it. So it's not something that is out of the blue. They did talk about it. They are still thinking about how they can create that. But because it's only the Two of Wands, they won't get the cooperation they need, and they are unable to learn the things that they need to learn in order to do that. And they're just unable to open that lock and get out to the world. This is what this card shows us, and it shows us that as long as they are cooped inside their own reality and are not able to face the reality as it is, they won't be able to execute a plan like this or other plans that are an attempt to run away from their problems instead of dealing with their problems. Okay, so that's the tarot, and the oracle is the dark mirror oracle. And let's see, what does the dark miracle oracle tells us about this plan of the Sussexes. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And let's start. Harry and Meghan's plan to start a virtual reality world of their own. Harry and Meghan's plan to start their own virtual reality world. Okay, so what I'm getting here is atonement. So this card looks very much like the Ten of Swords, a woman with all of the swords tacked in her back. And what it says is accepting pain is a way to survive pain. Not all things burn, but some should. And when we're looking deeper, it says that atonement is about paying bills. It's about doing things without negotiating. That's about accepting your punishment, let's say that way, without negotiating, and accepting the consequences of what you did. This is what they need to do. So the oracle actually tells them you are trying to change your reality in a way which not really changes your reality, when what you really need to do is atone for what you did, for your sins, and this energy will not leave you until you do. So they should accept the fact that what they did has consequences, and they should accept those consequences. They keep running away from them, but they won't be able to run away forever. So this is what this card is telling them. You need to atone. That is what you need to do. And unless you do that, you will go on suffering and feeling the pain and feeling the burning, and won't be able to see the sunlight coming. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.